Welcome to The Explainer. Right out of the gate today, we're going to completely reframe how you view your own intelligence and, honestly, your own potential. We're looking at the architecture of imagination, and I've got to tell you, I am so excited to guide you through this material because it literally flips the script on what it takes to be a creative powerhouse. If you've ever felt like you're just stuck in a rut, or maybe you think true innovation is reserved for a select few who won some sort of genetic lottery, well, prepare to have your mind completely changed.
So, do you possess genius-level intellect? Be honest with me. What was your immediate gut reaction to that question? Actually, most of us instantly say, no way. We immediately picture complex equations scrawled across giant chalkboards, right? Unapproachable academic theories, towering historical figures who just seem, well, built entirely differently than we are. But I want to tease you with something right here. Your answer to this question should be completely independent of your math or physics skills. It has absolutely nothing to do with your ability to crunch numbers, memorize random data, or ace a standardized test.
Okay, let's dive right into this. The source material we're unpacking today makes a bold, honestly incredible claim. You are Albert Einstein. The author suggests that the next time you see a picture of Albert Einstein, you need to realize that that's actually you. You should look at him and literally say, there I am. Now, why in the world would you do that? Because every single human has the capacity for some form of genius. To experience Einstein's creative level of thinking, all you have to do is habitually use your imagination. That's it. That is the entire secret. Genius is simply a habit of imagination.
Part 1. The Worry Trap. We define worry as the misuse of the imagination. You see, the simple instruction to just use your imagination is surprisingly difficult for adults to actually follow. Why is that? Well, because over time, adults have become totally accustomed to using their incredible, highly sophisticated mental machinery for basically one thing: worrying. Think about that deeply for a second. Adults visualize worst-case scenarios all day long. We take all of our profound, creative energy for visualization and we channel it into highly detailed, incredibly colorful, emotionally charged pictures of exactly what we dread the most. Now, in childhood, we instinctively used our imagination exactly as it was intended. We daydreamed. We carried this completely natural self-confidence. And honestly, we just made stuff up. We spent hours building these elaborate worlds in our minds, inventing brilliant solutions to entirely fictional problems, and fully believing in our own limitless potential. But then adulthood hits, and suddenly, that exact same creative power becomes completely dominated by worrying, dread, and visualizing worst-case scenarios. I mean, we take a minor critique from a boss and instantly construct a vivid, terrifying movie in our heads about losing our jobs and going totally broke. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that you haven't lost your imagination. You still have that exact same superpower you had as a kid. You're just using it backward. You're using a tool designed to build your magnificent future to instead vividly paint pictures of your own defeat. What people fail to comprehend is that the human imagination was designed for much grander, far better things than worry.
Part 2. Imagination over knowledge.
Imagination rules the world. Napoleon and plenty of other historical figures understood something absolutely fundamental. People who proactively use their imaginations to create, they often achieve things that warriors never even dream of achieving. And here is the real kicker. They achieve these incredible feats even if the warriors possess significantly higher IQs. People who habitually access their imaginations are often hailed by their colleagues as geniuses. But we tend to treat that word as if genius were this fixed genetic characteristic, right? Like eye color or height. We assume people are just born that way. But based on our source, they would be much better understood as people who are simply highly practiced at accessing their genius. It's a practiced, deliberate habit. It's not a lucky gene.
Which brings us to the man himself. Einstein famously said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." When the author of our source text first heard this, he actually admitted he didn't really know what it meant. And like many of us, he always thought that acquiring additional knowledge was the golden ticket, the answer to every difficult problem. I mean, the default assumption in our culture is always, hey, if I could just learn a few more important facts, if I could just read one more book or acquire one more degree, then I'd finally be okay and the problem would be magically solved. But this creates a totally game-changing distinction. On one side, we have knowledge, which is simply what you know, your facts, your stored information, your data points. But on the other side, we have skill, which is proactively using your imagination. Think about it. In the modern era, we literally have the entirety of human knowledge sitting right in our pockets. If knowledge alone were the answer, we'd all be thriving geniuses by now. But the brilliant realization from our source material is that the very thing we usually need to learn when we're feeling stuck is not more knowledge. We don't need more facts. What we desperately need to develop is a skill. The highly active skill of taking the facts we already have and proactively using our imagination to forge a solution right out of thin air. If you can go back into that uninhibited childhood state of self-confidence and just dare to dream again, you're going to be pleasantly surprised at how many innovative, immediate solutions you can come up with. Knowledge just sits there. Skill, on the other hand, builds the future.
Part 3. The skill of dreaming.
The really crucial point here lies in a super simple 3-step blueprint. Step 1. Stop worrying. You've got to recognize when you're misusing your imagination to paint those vivid, worst-case scenarios and actively cut the power to that mental projector. Now, your brain is going to fight you on this. It's going to tell you that worrying is really just being prepared. Ignore it. Step 2. Imagine who you want to be. Once you've learned to hit pause on that negative loop, your first real task is to begin imagining a clear, vibrant vision of your ideal self. And step 3, go for it. Now, I want to be entirely clear about this. Dreaming, in its proactive, constructive sense, is strong work. It is the literal design stage of creating the future. It requires you to step way out of your comfort zone. Returning to that childhood state of unapologetic self-confidence takes genuine courage. It isn't just passive wishing, it's highly active construction.
Part 4. The ultimate transformation.
What's great about this approach is that it completely relieves the pressure of perfectionism. First, focus on the pursuit. Second, forget the literal attainment of your dream for right now. Just totally put the finish line out of your mind. Why? Because the greatest thing about active dreaming isn't the eventual reaching of the goal. The absolutely greatest thing is what the pursuit fundamentally does to the dreamer. The daily process of proactive imagination literally rewires who you are. It shifts your default state from passive anxiety straight into active creation. And it builds incredible resilience and confidence every single time you consciously choose to dream instead of dread.
You make yourself come true. Just by focusing on the pursuit, just by simply going for the dream, you are actively manifesting your own genius. You aren't waiting around for permission from the world, and you definitely aren't waiting to suddenly feel smart enough or perfectly prepared. By doing the really strong, courageous work of imagining the future instead of worrying about it, you literally make yourself come true. So what will you choose to imagine today? You have a world-class, Einstein-level tool sitting right there inside your own mind. Are you going to use it to vividly paint a picture of everything that could possibly go wrong, or are you going to proactively use it to design the exact future you actually want? The architecture of your imagination is entirely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I challenge you, go build something truly amazing in your mind today.